Thank you. Irma Harris.
I'd like to know how many of the people that are here actually live in this neighborhood. For show of hands. Nobody. One. These are the same people that I see at all the either commission meetings or other meetings and things. The people from the neighborhoods are not here. So you come out and you tell us, oh, we overwhelmingly had the approval of the people in their neighborhoods. We went to their communities. We went to all those different things. And it was approved by the people of the neighborhoods. It was overwhelming. These are the same people I see all the time that are in complete agreement all the time. Those of us that have the courage to stand up and say we don't want what's going on, like Commissioner Pettis and Kathy and Jimmy and I, we're ridiculed. The Keep Amarillo Strong, which I don't understand the name, it must be Let's Go Arm because they got all this welcome money to put all this ads in the newspaper, going to the neighborhood. Lies to say that they go into our neighborhood and knocked on our doors. I never got knock, knock. And if I wasn't home and they came knocking, they didn't leave me a calling card or a piece of literature or anything to tell me they'd been there. But yet you say, oh, the people are approving this, they want this. But have you really gone out and talked to the ordinary citizen that is the backbone of this town? Not the wealthy, not the middle class, no. You talk to the elites up here, the bankers. Who do you have on the board besides the publisher of the newspaper that is so biased against the people that dare to disapprove of what is going on? Call us names. Do you have anybody from the hotel associations on there? The restaurant associations on there? These people do not live in this neighborhood. They didn't build these houses. They don't come to the schools. And you tell us that this is for the best, this is for your quality of life. Think about it and ask. The ordinary citizen that gets up every morning, puts on their pants and gets in the car and drives to work and worries at the kitchen table. Yes, it is kitchen table politics. They sit down at the kitchen table and they figure out, how am I going to pay? Do I choose food or do I choose fuel for my car? Do I pay my taxes or do I let my house deteriorate so that my taxes don't go up? I live in the historical district and nobody asked me if I wanted to be part of the downtown. When did I get asked? I didn't count. I lived in this town for 23 years. I paid taxes. Was I not important? I don't want a damn golf cart downtown. I don't want all that traffic going down my street. I've got a lot more to say, but I'll keep quiet for right now.
Thank you very much for your time. This meeting is open to the general public.
But who shows up? The same people. Where are the ordinary citizens?
Well, Madison, he's trying to answer your question, so let's just take over. We're trying to do the question and then the answer.
I would love to have your help in the interviews. We have 3 more of these throughout the community. They will have one with downtown last Thursday, one tonight. And we'd love to have more people here. I certainly have never said we're going to do anything like that. In fact, that's what this is about.
You were really told at the meeting where you were at, where you said that, not you, but the other man said that we hadn't gotten up early enough to go to the meeting while people were at work. And we couldn't make that 8 o'clock meeting at the PRPC. And that was not funny.
That's not what he said.
He said, well, I can't quote his exact words, but it kind of makes it fun.
Thank you. I'm sorry if that's, I would apologize for him, though he's not here, because I can promise you that would not be the intent. If you were offended, please accept my humble
That was
apology.
at the meeting.
I understand. If you were offended, I would please accept my apology on his behalf. That was not the intent. This meeting is a public meeting, as is all the meetings, as are all the meetings. We would encourage people to attend. You're going to have people that have different viewpoints. We encourage them. I appreciate your comments. can't speak to something because I'm not on the board. I'm a private partner working to do the thing that you have concern about, to reach out and get the opinions of the public and include them. It's not going to be it's not going to be what everyone agrees, but we're trying to make sure that we incorporate both the folks that support, folks that are ambivalent about it, and the folks that are against it to make sure that we can reflect the views of the citizens. And I support you on that, and I appreciate your passion for this issue. Okay.
Thank you. And Brad Douglas.
Yeah, I was just curious. I heard on the meetings, and you touched on it tonight a little bit about aquatics. Can you kind of give me a little input on that? I know you're not going to say you're in a contract or anything with aquatics.
Sure. The Aquatic Center, the Panhandle Aquatics, had done a study along with the city to take a look at options for putting an aquatic center that they wanted to propose. They had originally talked to the school district about financially participating. They identified a number of options for consideration. That project has not been incorporated yet. However, at the last meeting, we had about half dozen or more people and speak, and about twice that many applaud, that they encouraged that aquatic center be considered as a part of the downtown project. My candid comment to them was that you were looking at a project that ranged between $18 and $25 million, where the operating cost deficit, including the benefits that were anticipated to be received, was about a minimal amount, $300,000 per year. My comment was that though I believe the aquatics is a benefit to this community, with the shall we say, hoorah that happened over an $8 million project, of which only $6 million was public, I could only imagine the hoorah that would happen over a $20 million project, of which $14 to $15 million might be public. And so if you're going to move that forward, you need to start identifying things such as the Kroc Foundation and others to help lower that cost, and identify other sources of capital to make sure that if any investment was made publicly, that you could demonstrate that it was indeed leveraged 2 to 3 times before it makes any sense. And encourage them to do so, because I do believe, from what I've seen, that aquatics is an important element of the community. There are 4 pillars to the aquatics, be it health and safety, be it things for children, be it for competitive swimming. There are a number of things that you can do, and it could be an important component, but it has to make sense. It has to make sense for the public that they want to see. So that we are taking steps to look into it further. We're contacting folks like U.S. Swim, have missed Vicki Bryant, who's the head of Panhandle Aquatics. Still need to work with her on more of this. It's just in process. And some of the things that we're investigating as a part of this. That's about all I can tell you. I think that's summarizing. Does that help?
Yes.
And so that's the last of the speaker cards that I have. We're about out of time, but there was one question I want to go back to in our last few minutes, unless somebody else has a speaker form that they haven't turned in yet. Okay, earlier somebody touched on, in sort of a multi-part question, touched on the question of parking. And like shared parking and multi-use parking was named. I couldn't remember who, but I heard it. And so I wonder if Joe and Melissa, if you would just really briefly maybe address the issue of parking downtown.
Commissioner, I did forget that, and I apologize. First off, and Melissa can speak to this in great detail, the parking study that shows presently, for the present usage, about 30% of the available parking is used. So there's significant parking down at the present utilized. As we look at the facilities under development, or under consideration for development, whether it's the Herring that Mr. Goodrich owns that we'd like to see redeveloped, or a new property, the need to address parking is a part of that. The contract we have with the city anticipates that there may be a need for structured parking, but that comes as a part of the facility assessment, and that would be included in the cost and the impact assessment. And that would be provided so that people could say, here's the total cost, here's the total impact. And so it's in the process. There's been no answer. There's been a couple of sites identified, and that's part of the land planning part of the hiring the architectural firms that the school was represented tonight that are black for the opportunities to be considered.
No, I think the only thing I would add is the only way, the 2% number you saw really represented downtown becoming a suburb with the tearing down of buildings, using all space parking, no sharing of parking, If we want that 2% number to go back up, we have to go up with parking. We have to share surface parking that's there. That doesn't mean all surface parking goes away, because it won't. But we have to think about parking in a smarter way so that we can develop downtown.
You know, the other, tell a personal story. I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, and at the end of my block was a wheat field. And when I was a kid, I would go down the end of the block and I would take wheat. I would actually, with my friends, we would straw huts and we played there along a grove of hedge house trees. And I went back in the late 1990s, and that field was gone. It was now houses. The creek that we used to catch fish in had been re-diverted and was housing development. And behind that, there was commercial retail. They had changed my reality. They had changed the place that I grew up in. And I was not happy. I had to remind myself what business I was in. And what I realized was that things changed. It wasn't like this 100 years ago when people came here to what it is today. And it's not going to be like what it is today 100 years from now. What we're looking at is how we address things for the future. And there's back in the 80s, there was a comic called Yakov Smirnoff. He's a Russian guy who came to the United States, and he had a quote. He said, you know, as soon as I got my citizenship, he said, I don't want any foreigners in here anymore. and the fact of the matter is, we all want to stay the way it is, and it's not going to. Communities grow or they die, but they do not stay the same. And so how can we work together to address the needs of the community? It's not going to make everybody happy. I don't want to hear you tell you it's going to. But how do we work together to make sure that we can address the thing? I appreciate all your views, both positives and negatives. I appreciate the passion by which you approach it. Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to add is...
Let me say this. I can listen to what you all say and through my mind and what I like to see and what I don't, and what I don't like somebody say, and I'm saying. The thing that gets me is the newspaper itself. If I say that it ain't worth a damn, they'll write there. They'll write it down. You understand? Now, if I say something negative, they write it down, you know. If I say something good, they don't. I mean, this newspaper is biased to everybody.
Well, neither of us are with the
No,
paper.
I know, but it's not
I mean, I really don't think we can address what the paper does.
You're not like this.
I'm so,
I mean,
okay.
we're buddies. I know, I've seen you, I've seen you there all the time. But the thing is, when I say something, or any of us say anything, write it down. Not only the negative, not just the negative.
It's recorded.
Yeah, but it never comes to the paper. Well, and the paper is your help, your friend. You understand? Whatever you say is going to be good. Whatever else we say, it's not going to be any good. They're not going to write it down. They're just going to write what you say is good.